Welcome to the Beauty Story. My name is Amanda Hall. I'm 55 years old and I have really dry skin, lots of fine lines and wrinkles. I have deep set eyes and a cool olive undertone. And this is my month in favorites and fails and just plain meh. I tried 45 products this month and I have to tell you, I would say that there's more on the meh and the fail side than there is on the fave side. So let's get to it. Let's start off with contour slash bronzer. I just tried two products this month from LA Colors. This concealer, actually, that I got in its darkest shade of cocoa. It actually was an okay bronzer. It is a little more towards the cooler side, but it just, for me, it was just very meh. It wasn't amazing, spectacular, but it was definitely not terrible. I could totally get away with using this if I was major balling on a budget. This would actually be for someone with a cool undertone skin color. This would be a nice bronzer slash contour color for you. I have ones that I just love so much that this just didn't do enough to unseat those in my personal collection. And then let's talk about this new product from Versed. Now, Versed is a skincare line, and from what I understand, this might be their like drugstore version of Merit. It's a clean product. I was extremely underwhelmed with this. It seemed to just disappear on my skin. It was a little bit too orange for me. This was their lightest shade, I believe, and this is in the color August. It was so disappointing for $15 that it just didn't do anything. I actually would have rather have picked, like between the two, this one would be for sure a winner. And this one was just really a fail for me. It just sank right into my skin. I didn't see a whole lot of color payoff. And I like it to do some sort of sculpting. So I have to say, in all honesty, I picked up almost the entire line of Verse, and spoiler alert for the rest of the Verse products to come up. Yeah, I was not impressed at all. So bummed about that, but those were the two contours that I tried for the month of March. So let's now talk about highlighters. Now, again, we'll start with the Verse product. It was okay. It was not great, not spectacular, not anything that I would write home about. It was just very meh. And I want products that are going to inspire me, and I want to feel great when I put them on, and this just was not it. It was nice, it was good, but not spectacular, and I always want to find those products that are more on the spectacular side. Now, I will say that this was definitely more on that side. This was very pretty. I liked the way it looked. It was a little more natural than I like a little more va-va voom to my highlighters, but I will say this was definitely a fave, and this will definitely sit in my personal collection for a bit, and will probably be something that I reach for more often than not. So that was one good out of the 4 products, 1 out of 4, 25%. That's not a great statistic. Let's talk about mascara. I only tried 2 mascaras this month, and they were both really bad. $1.25 or whatever this was from LA Colors. I figured I'd give it a try. It just didn't really do much to my lashes. And in fact, this one that's like $15 did even less than this did. This is very natural. My daughter is visiting right now, so this might be something that I give to her because she's got beautiful long lashes, and this would just be a beautiful enhancement to those. But for me, who has short lashes and who needs some va-va voom to her lashes when she, mascara when she puts it on, this was an epic fail for me. So not so bueno on the mascaras I tried this month. Let's talk about just the two brow products, and these were from the full face of LA Colors that I did. So if you want to watch that, I will put that up in a card so that you can go back and watch that if you'd like to, where I did my first impressions on all these LA Color products that I tried. This was definitely kind of a fail. It really didn't do anything. I have very stubborn brows that like to fall, and so this was definitely not, I would say for me, it was a fail. If you have naturally nice bushy eyebrows that don't get unruly, that just need a good brush through with a product, this would probably be something that you might like. Was a fail for me, who's someone who needs and likes some hold to their brows. The brow pencil. Now, I did use this quite often during the month. I thought the tone of it, even though it looks a little bit cooler toned here in the pencil, it was a little more on my brow. I mean, so that's pretty cool toned. So I did use it during the month, and I was actually impressed by it. It's not as so impressive that it will make its way into my collection though. So this would have to be a product that I said was really good to try. I did use it a bit. I was not disappointed in it at all for $1.25, and it had a spoolie on it. I was actually fairly impressed with this. So because I have so many things that I love, so many eyebrow products that I absolutely 100% love, holy grail stuff, this just won't make it into my personal collection, but I definitely thought it was a good product. All right, let's talk concealer. I tried all 4 of these concealers during the month. I have the 2 different shades of the LA Colors that I tried, as well as the Versed and the Morphe. Let's talk about the LA Color ones. I was not terribly disappointed with this. Now, this color was too orange and too dark for me, so this would be a fail, and this was the color Beige. It was just too dark. This was a great brightening color, but it was a little bit too bright. It was a little more white, but it was actually a fairly decent concealer, definitely full coverage, a little more drying. So if you have extra dry under eyes, this is not be a product that you want to try. If you have a little more leaning towards normal to oily, it might be worth giving a try for $1.25 if you can find one that you think is more your color. This one was just a little bit too light for me, but I would say it wasn't a bad product. So for $1.25, $1.98, probably worth the pickup. Now, the Versed. I really tried to like this. It was okay. The whole line just was not that spectacular. I was disappointed. But I would say the big hit, and then I'll bring in this other Morphe product because I use these 2 Morphe products together and I don't have anything else that I tried. These 2 products together are perfection for me. I was so impressed with the way that both of these went on. Of course, I'm holding this upside down. I was so impressed. This is in the color, I think it's Buff 4C, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Buff 4C. Amazing. Perfect color, perfect by itself. Set down with this. Oh, perfection. Both of these will be making their way into my personal collection, and I couldn't be more thrilled. And Morphe is not usually a product that I hold on to. Usually, like the Versed products, I can get a little more on the disappointed side rather than the excited side. But these 2 products, they are amazing. So definitely would highly recommend those. Now let's talk about the foundations. I tried 4 foundations in the month, and we'll talk about the one that was my absolute favorite, and then we'll talk about the other 3. This Pretty Fresh tinted balm that just came out not too long ago. So this was like an end of the month try. I now have it in probably a color that's a little more my speed, more my color. This one I actually picked up at the Target. The other one I actually got online from ColourPop. Spectacular. I'm wearing the darker color today. They definitely actually are both going to go into my collection. They will become holy grail type things. Like I could see myself wearing this every day this summer, and not feeling like I have makeup on. Like this stuff is amazing. Amazing. Definitely in the personal collection. And I will keep both of the colors that I have. I have color 9 and color 13. Let's talk about the foundations. The LA Colors, I was actually surprised for, I think this thing was $3, $2.98. I was impressed with how like matte this was. It did get a little cakey by the end of the day on me, but I was not mad at it. If you have more oily skin, or you have maybe more normal to oily skin, this might be a perfect foundation for that gal that's got to really ball on a budget. I was very impressed by it. It wasn't extremely drying. It was drying, and it did get a little cakey, you know, 5 to 6 hours in, but I was impressed that the color was not terrible. I mean, they don't have a big color selection. So, you know, would I recommend this? Yes. Is it something that is going to make its way into my collection? No. I'm not that matte girl. I prefer to have something a little more dewy with a little more even of a satin finish. So that's just my preference with my extremely dry skin. All right, let's talk about the True Skin. Now, I tried this at the end of the month. I took it out of my personal collection. So it was something that was actually in my stash of foundations that I really liked and that was wearing. Now, it looked really great for like the first 3 hours, maybe the first 2 hours after putting it on. And then after that, it just looked dry and cakey. I mean, it says it's a hydrating foundation with hyaluronic acid. It says it's long wear. So it's more of a natural to matte finish versus a satin to dewy finish. I mean, I am actually surprised that this is something that worked for me last year. I do like that it does tend to have that more green undertone for a cool, like I love the color of it, but the color wasn't enough to surpass that. It just didn't really do too much for me after 2 hours, and it was kind of a, you know, meh. Is it going to stay in my personal collection? No. So it will be making its way out of my personal collection. And then this Versed multi-serum skin tint. Yeah. Again, I think that whole Versed line was a big disappointment. I mean, I've got 2 lip products to still share with you guys, and I was underwhelmed by them. Yeah, just didn't do much for my skin. It looked drier and cakier by the end of the day. I do normally wear my foundations for probably 8 to 10 hours because I get ready at, 4 or 5 in the morning, 5 in the morning. And so I wear it till 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. So, I demand a lot of my foundation, and when it just didn't start looking good after a few hours, it's just, to me, I'd just rather move on from it. So that definitely was not a product that would stay. Now, I had better luck in the blush department, honestly, this month. And out of all the Versed products that I actually liked, which was just this one, that I had a higher opinion of was this blush. And this is in the color Deco. It was a really pretty pink. I liked it, but I like some of these more, and these will make their way into my personal collection, whereas this one it was very pretty. It was very nice. It held up all day long. It was a great product, did not wow me enough against these other products to really make its way into my collection. So that would be a no. Let's talk about these sun kissers. Now this was an original one I had. This is the glowy ones that came out, I think last year or so, maybe a year and a half ago. And this was in lilac. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I brought this back out of the personal stash to try it, and it was just, it is stunning, stunning, gorgeous. So I figured, why not pick up the matte blush in Berry? They just released the matte versions with some colors in it, and this is gorgeous. Both of these are pretty sheer, so they are buildable. So you don't have to be, I mean, I'm pretty heavy-handed when it comes to blush. These are way more user-friendly than most of the blushes that I have in my collection, or even some of the blushes that are coming up that I'm going to talk about. These are very beautiful. They do tend to go on sheer, so they are buildable, but you pick these two up, especially if you're a cool tone girly. These are both fantastic. Both will be staying in my personal collection. Super excited about that. Now, I will say, out of the LA Colors try-on haul that I did, you know, I did really like, if I had to, if I was running short on the bronzers, or I felt like I didn't really maybe have any Holy Grail type ones, this probably would have stayed. But this blush, I will say, I was really, really impressed with the color of this blush, how this blush lasted all day long, and we're talking under $2. And I think this might even actually be like 98 cents even, maybe. I don't remember. But is this color worth picking up? Heck yeah. Especially if you're a babe balling on a budget. If you're my glam girly who needs budget-friendly stuff, this is gonna be a really great product for you. It was really pretty on the skin. It was pigmented. I was pretty surprised for the price on how pigmented it was. It did really leave a nice pink tint on my skin. Now, normally a pink, they can tend to go a little more warmer on me. This one did, but wasn't like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how warm this pink is. It definitely stayed cooler. So this one, although it's not going to make its way into my personal collection, it definitely was on the cusp of making it in. This one, however, is going to make it in. And I don't know that I have anything that is this color. This is a gel formula, and I definitely don't have anything that this is this formula. Now, this was a new release by Makeup Revolution. This is their Super Dewy Liquid Blush. It says liquid blush, but it is a gel, and it is pigmented, and it is beautiful. Let me put on my glasses, see what color this was. Because I thought, oh, this was going to be a nudie brown color, and it was just the most gorgeous rose, like deep mauve pink color that was just perfect. Do I see the color on here? Does it say it on front? Oh yes, Blush Me Up. Blush Me Up. Gorgeous, absolutely going into my personal collection. And then the last but not least was the new Juvia's Place cream blushes that they just released not very long ago. And I picked up the one Pinch Me. And I mean, this is a bubblegum pink, if there is a bubblegum pink. And it has that purple undertone to it, which for me as a cool undertone skin girly is perfection. This is absolutely going into my personal collection, and yeah, gorgeous, pretty, lasted all day long, highly pigmented. Like one tap of my blush brush, wiped on the back of my hand, covered both cheeks, and probably was still even a little bit too much. So highly pigmented, absolutely stunning. I looked at other colors. Now their other colors tend to be more warm in tone. I even looked at like their berry and the red tone that they have. I just wasn't ready quite to pull the trigger, but this one, absolutely for me, 100% a score. All right, now we're gonna talk lips. Now I have to say, you know, I haven't ever really been a lip liner girl. Until more recently, I've liked, you know, kind of shading it in. And today's combination is the, I've been testing the LA Girl, which I picked up at Ulta for $3.50. This is the color Blushing I'm wearing as the lip liner. And then I'm using the new ColourPop Shimmer So Juicy Stick. Oh my gosh, like, look at that. That'll be in next month's review, but I can already tell you, it is a winner. Winner, chicken dinner. I tried a bunch of different lip pencils this month. This CoverGirl, which was kind of this pink color, but it just was the wrong shade for me, and it bled. I do have deeper wrinkling around my mouth, and it just bled. It just was a no for me. It was a fail. Let's talk about the NYX pencils that I used this month. These NYX lip liners are really, really great. I picked up the color Prune, which loved this color Mahogany, which I absolutely loved. This pale pink was just too almost white pink. I hit myself in the face with the pencils. Was almost a white pink, and it was just too pale for me. It was too light on my lips, and so that it's only a no because the color just didn't work for me. And then the last two is the LA Colors lip liner pencil in this Fire Red, if I can get that right, Forever Red. A little too on the warm tone side for me, but it was a nice pencil. If they had something that was a little more bluer toned red, I probably would have picked it up. I would pick up another one of these if I saw a color that went along more with the cooler tones that I like, but it wasn't a bad. So I would say if you like a bold, if you like a bold red lip and you like that bright red, this would be a perfect pencil for you. Just not for me. And then the Sephora collection, Dress to the 90s. This is a good, just bare nude color. I would say that this is probably, I tried the LA Colors. I'm wearing the blushing one today, but I also picked up the one in Bare. And I think that one might dethrone this particular one, but I haven't worn it enough yet to see. But this Dress to the 90s, if you are thinking about getting any of the Sephora collection things, this is a great color pencil. Their lip pencils are really great. The Sephora eye gel pencils, amazing. There's been a few of the Sephora products that I've really liked. I do have a Sephora order coming of Sephora collection new things that I bought. They've had some new releases, a new foundation, and so those are on its way. Let's finish off the lips. I did try a lot of lips this month. We got a lot of lip products to talk about. They're gonna be quick because I would say I didn't like most of these. The Milani, which is fairly new, their lip was not a good color for me, but just I would much rather use the ColourPop over these, and so yeah, this was just kind of meh. Just not anything overly spectacular. Well, I wouldn't say it's a fail, but it just wasn't that impressive. This new Clean Fresh Yummy Blur, for me who has extremely dry lips, epic fail. So drying. So, I mean, I had to wipe it off. That's how bad it was. So if you have dry lips, don't waste your money. It was a pretty color, but don't waste your money. Same with this supposedly satin, rich satin Wet n Wild. Oh my gosh, this dried out my lips so bad. So bad. Yeah, won't do that again. Then this Versed blush. Let's talk about the two Versed products. This is one of their click up sticks. It's supposed to be a balm. This color, I was not inspired by really any of the colors, but this one seemed like it would be the best. Kind of more of a nude brown color. Yeah, no. Just not a good color. I mean, glosses like this, they don't stay on very long. So it's hard to judge a gloss like this by that. But this color was just all wrong, and I really was just not that inspired. And the same with this lip blush, just too drying. Pretty color, just too drying. So it was a no for me. Let's see here. The LA Colors holographic. I picked up another one of the colors. This was the original one I picked up. I was more impressed with this than with this one. This one did not feel as gritty, but when I picked up this one felt a lot more gritty. I don't know if maybe it was just a batch that was like that, or maybe this one was the one that was the mistake. But I really did like the way this looked on my lips. I will probably hold on to this one, but I was not impressed with this one. It was pretty color, loved the way it looked, but it was just a little bit too gritty for me with the glitter. I wanted to love this so much. Oh my gosh. I was so hoping. It looked online like it was a cool red. Even here, looking like in the monitor that I'm looking at, it looked like a cool tone red. Those are harder to find. And this orange, straight out orange. Love the gloss color. I mean, love the gloss shine. So I love the effect of it. The color was terrible for me. For someone who needs a cool undertone, terrible color. So orangey red. It was so bad. I was so disappointed. So that was a fail for me. This other LA Colors, this was actually not that bad. I would just have to say it's meh. It was a nice color. It didn't totally dry out my lips, but it just wasn't a wow. And I've already shared. If I'm going to add it to my personal collection, I need to be wowed, and it needs to be something that is impressive, that just inspires me, and it just didn't. Okay, so we're down to the last two of the lips, and these are actually products that I have tried before that I just picked up different colors in. And I have the e.l.f. Lip Oil, Reviver Lip Oil, and this is the shimmer. The glow, so this is the Glow Reviver Lip Oil in Glimmer Finish. And this one is a Divine Rose. Really pretty color. Really pretty topper for a pink lip. Really gorgeous. And then I really do love the So Juicy line. I mean, I'm wearing the So Juicy Click Stick on my lips today. And then I picked up, this was the color, I think this is Berry, hold on, let me look here. Beverly Drive, really pretty, just kind of a darker maroon color, really pretty. I have it in this color. It happens to be sitting on my desk in the Hits Diff. This is a good neutral color that I like. So these two were products that I have tried before that I got different colors in, but these are definitely going to make their way into my personal collection. All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about is eyeshadow. But out of what I have here on my desk, I have a lot of no's and just kind of okay products. Some really bad fails, in my opinion, which might be controversial to some. And I have a few really great ones that I'm holding on to. So let's talk about the eyeshadow. Now, most of these they're obviously brands I've tried before. I've either just picked up in different shades or they've launched new lines. But I will say that this Wink, I have two of the other shades. I've tried almost all the shades of this so far. I think the last one I have is Moon, and I think there's a brown one I haven't tried, but I haven't been that inspired to try it. But this is going to make it into my personal collection. I was impressed at the color payoff on all of these. I liked using the two shimmers as toppers. So this would be a great throw in your bag and go. If you aren't wanting to plan a lot of different looks, maybe you're just going for a weekend and you're comfortable with just doing one look, or maybe you need a day look and a night look. This is a great little 4-pan palette that will get you through any type of occasion. And so for sure, this is staying in my collection. Let's talk about the Profusion Bejeweled. This mousse color, oh my goodness. It was spectacular, spectacular, gorgeous. The rest of this was kind of just meh. And I have the evergreen version, which is the green version of this. And then I have another version, Smitten, down there that I want to try. This one was just meh for me. It just isn't spectacular enough, even though this color is pretty amazing, spectacular enough to keep in my collection. So I would say it's good. I mean, it's pigmented. The shadows are pretty. They last all day. Like, I didn't have any problems with it. It just isn't inspiring enough for me to keep it in my collection. Well, let's talk about this Bratz palette. Now, some of these palettes from ColourPop are geared towards a younger audience. They're geared towards, you know, people who would know who the Bratz are. I think my daughter may have watched them. I think, and she's 34. So this wasn't really like, I'm not very familiar with this. But I will say this color story was pretty beautiful. I have not really decided on this one yet. I am thinking that it's probably going to go in the giveaway pile. Even though these colors are really pretty, I think that I have a lot of these colors in my other purple ColourPop palettes that I have, and probably could get a similar look from those. And so I think this one is going to also make its way to any of my friends or family who might like to play with color. But these last two palettes are definitely moving into my personal collection. And the first one is actually an all matte palette. You guys saw me try this during the month, and you saw me try it putting on absolutely no sparkle. My glam heart was hurting for the days that I tried all these matte looks. And I so bad, after I filmed and took pictures to put up on social and everything, I so bad wanted to put on some sparkle to my eyes, but I did not. I withheld. But this is just the perfect cool tone matte palette. If you are looking for a cool tone matte palette, this one is amazing. It is really nice quality, and the Morphe products do tend to go on sale. This is one of their more, I wouldn't say that this was a recent release, but these palettes, I mean, it's got this big old mirror in it. Like, if you are a matte girl, this would be a perfect cool tone matte for your collection. This is going to stay in my collection because I don't have anything that is all matte that is cool toned. So because I like cool tone shadows, this is definitely going to stay in my collection. If I find that I'm not reaching for it, it may go away like at the end of the year when I do my last like big huge declutter for my personal stock, or I'm figuring out like what my top 5 are to hold on to or whatever. That might go, but I'm going to keep it in there for now. And then the other one is, are you guys surprised? As much I was in love with the Twilight palette, and honestly, this does not dethrone that palette in the least, but this did create some pretty unique, fun, special looks. And you know, I was really hesitant and to go into this side of the palette, which is more these greens. They were a little more scary, but these other colors, I mean, especially like this navy blue shimmer and these other darker ones down here, oh, gorgeous. The payoff on these for this $10 palette for 21 shades, the quality on these, unbelievable and spectacular. In fact, I will be doing a mostly full face of Profusion. I did pick up some Profusion products, some blush, some contour, some highlight. I might try it with that Smitten palette. We'll do all of that at the same time. But this is definitely going to make its way into my personal collection. So that is it. 45 products that I tried in the month of March. And I will say, it was not one of my best months of trying on products. I will say. I am keeping, let's see here. I am keeping, of the 45, I'm keeping 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 of the 45 products I tried. So, and you know, really 4 of those were lip products, 3 pencils and a gloss, and 4 blushes, which is unusual for me. Now, one of them was already in my collection, to be honest, but it's making its way back because I did take things out of my collection that are going to be leaving my collection. So, but yeah, that was my month. So I'm excited so far. I think I have tried some really great products to kick off April. I'm sorry it took so long to get this video up. Just things were happening and going on, but I'm excited for things to come. And so we'll see what I got. Maybe I'll do the Profusion video next week. We'll try it, mostly a full face of Profusion, and we'll go from there for next Monday's beauty story. So my first impressions and trying new makeup. But remember, every piece of makeup in your collection serves a purpose, and together they create a beauty story. So why not be intentional, be confident, be you, and create a beauty story you will love. I'll see you next week.